So yeah, greetings everyone. This is the mentorship, just to make sure that everyone is in the right session. Um, my name is Nhlanhla Simelane. Um, like I said, I started as an engineer, but I've been coaching for 20 years with some significant success. In terms of just getting people to really do well in their business and in corporate. All right. Um, yeah, I think that's the high level. Let's please make this session as interactive as possible. For especially for those who are new today, let's make it as interactive as possible. If you want to ask questions, you can put up your hand during my talk and we can address your questions, right? Yeah, so I I've been coaching people for 20 years with some significant success. I think you can listen to the previous recording for some of the specific cases. Currently, I'm working as an entrepreneur, right? As an electronic engineer, you can basically do everything, right? When you think about it, everything works through electronics, whether it's health, whether it's farming, whether it's law, whether it's teaching, whether you're a nurse, whether it's in transportation, and yeah, essentially every single field. And every single field has a potential, and this is very important, a potential lucrative idea, right? I don't want to put the value of it, but you can imagine what lucrative means, right? It's a lucrative idea. So my passion is obviously to help those who are unemployed to get jobs, but I always believe that you should get employment, but at the same time, you should always be pursuing an idea. I'm a born-again Christian, as some of you know. I think a lot of you come from or heard about this from the church environment. You know, I honestly believe a couple of things. The one thing I believe is that everyone has got incredible potential. The problem is not all of us know how to untap our potential. Let me explain. You are both a user and the owner of you. Sounds a bit complicated, right? So you've got a body, but your mind uses that body, right? It uses your skills and so forth. And a lot of us sometimes don't know ourselves. In fact, all of us to an extent don't know ourselves. That's why, for example, when you're sick, you go to a doctor because a doctor knows more about you than you know about yourself. And that is normally how I've got my success to begin to tap into people's skills or to begin to tap into people's potential. All right. I think that's just high level from my belief system. So I've always taken that every person has got incredible potential. That's the one thing. The other thing is that your potential is limitless, right? Oftentimes you find you find yourself, you might find yourself maybe starting music, and then the next day you might start discovering dance. Is that we've got untapped potential. And you won't know that untapped potential unless you try something, right? Unless you, for example, you won't know that you are good at a guitar unless you try and play the guitar. So there's an element of effort in order to tap into that untapped potential. All right. I don't want to make this too much of a motivational speech, but I think it was important for that, right? But back into me, right? So at the moment, I'm building a banking platform. There's only two banking platforms in the major providers in the world, right? Maybe let me show you guys what we're talking about. And currently, there is no provider in Africa, right? So most of the African so-called banks either build their own platforms internally or get their banking platforms from overseas, right? Just to give you guys an example of some of the stuff that we do. So this is our banking platform. And at the moment, we are talking with the biggest local bank in the country for them to use our banking platform, right? Just let me just log in. Right. So some of the things you will see, the normal things that you see in a bank, transactions, different types of products, whether it's overdraft, current account, and so forth, right? I don't want to go too much into the savings. We've got fixed deposit, we've got credit cards, revolving, term loan, home loan, vehicle finance, solar loan. This is just on the personal side. And then on the business side, for this client, we're getting business fixed term, agricultural loan, business overdraft, essentially the full suite of what a bank is. And we've also got like a budgeting tool for their clients. We've got, this is a bit revolutionary. We also include in courses for their client, for their clients. So what this does is that it's been proven that if people are more educated, they're less likely to default. So basically what they've got is that if you go for certain courses, they decrease your interest rate. We've even got an e-commerce platform, like an Amazon platform there, so that they can sell and so forth on their platform, right? So this is some of the stuff that we do, just in terms of, but I've got clients across different industries. There's another client in mining and so forth and so forth and so forth, right? Just a bit about what I do, and so forth, all right? But any questions before I go any further? I feel it's a bit flat. Maybe Kudzani, I think you had a couple of people who are joining. Any specific thing you would like me to address before I go to the rest of the agenda? Okay, if you are
All
talking,
right.
you're on mute.
Yes, I unmuted things. So good afternoon, everyone. I think maybe if you could just give a high-level introduction on what the mentorship is about, um, as well as what the people can expect. Because from my side, I did reach out to family, friends, colleagues, people in different areas, different industries and the like. So I think they'd really appreciate to at least understand what it's about, what can they expect, is this right for them, so they can know how best to proceed, as well as know who else they could possibly share it with.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. So, in terms of what the mentorship is about, right? So there's a couple of things. So, what we do is essentially every week we're probably going to have about 3 sessions, right? Now, in terms of what it's about, it's for everyone, but you need to decide for yourself whether you fit in here or not, right? If you don't believe that you fit in, it's fine. I think you need to make a decision for yourself. But essentially, there's two goals, right? It's to it's to help people to get employment, um, but also to help people to start having entrepreneurial ideas. And again, please stop me as I go because it might not be as easy to understand. So the first thing that we're going to be delivering on this platform is that we are going to be having an AI platform that automatically get you an interview within 30 days, otherwise money back guarantee. We are busy with that tool. It's an artificial intelligence tool. It should be ready in 2 to 3 months. But if you are on the mentorship, you have access to that, right? So it's guarantee interview or otherwise money back guarantee, right? Again, people tend to like figures, but for example, there's a lady in the US who was unemployed and through running the algorithm was able to, I think, now this is US salaries, right? She was able to get a job for 2.6 million rand, right, per year, $150,000, right? So for the guys on the platform, normally that tool is about 1.7. you will get a significant discount if you're on the mentorship for running that, right? So that will be what you have. But in order for you to get an interview, you can get it as you are, but the more you upskill yourself, the more likelihood that you're going to get a decent job or a higher paying job, right? So that's the first element, is that by being on the mentorship, you have access to that tool. The second thing is that we, as part of the mentorship, we are going to be building a platform, right? So the last time the guys decided to do a health system platform, I'm going to show what that health system would look like. But the consensus last time was to build a health system, a platform. Now, we could build Twitter, we could build Facebook, we could build Netflix. There's nothing we can't build, but there was consensus to build that platform. Now, in building that platform, you'll be able to gain skills. So it's obviously coding or programming. But remember that with any program, there's not just the coders. There's a business analysis, there's the marketing, there is the operations and administration. So what that will do is that it will give you the skills, for example, if you were never employed before, to be a business analyst, right? Now, business analysts are extremely well paid, but by the end of the month, you would be able to say, you know what, I went, and you can even quote our company. I was working with Savly, and I was able to do a business. I was able to do business analysis, right? Or if the idea for those who are interested in coding, it'll depend on how quick you are. But the idea is that after 3 months, you will start as well to be able to code for yourself, right? But some people are not coders. For example, we had Umamu Esther. She's a nurse, so she's not going to code, but she's going to be helping us with putting together the requirements for our health system. So that's the second thing, is that you get to skills. So twice a week, we're going to be running that. We're building that platform. So you'll be able to understand how a platform is built. And number two, you'll be able to get skills from that. Linked to that is that whatever platform we build, we're going to take to market. And everyone on the platform will be a part shareholder onto that. For example, with my banking system, if, for example, we were using it as part of the mentorship, and I'm getting a client like I'm getting now, you guys would be part owners of that, right? So obviously the banking platform is not on spec, but if we build a platform, you will be part owners of that. So remember what I said last time, is that we've decided to build a health system. I'm going to show you what AI suggested, right? And as I share this, you guys will begin to understand how easy it is to come up with a business idea, right? So for example, I asked AI, give me business ideas that haven't been done in South Africa. Can everyone see my screen? Sorry, before I go ahead. Maybe
Yes, we can.
sorry, you can.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
So
we can.
yeah, no, carry on, yeah. Oh yeah. So for example, I'll ask AI, okay, give me all the business opportunities in South Africa. Now, South African health system is a 270 billion rand system, right? But there's a lot of things it doesn't have. So I asked the AI, give me business ideas that haven't been done in South Africa that I could sell to the government, right? So for example, it says a health education app. Provide comprehensive information on various health topics like nutrition, hygiene, maternal health, child health, and so forth. It says I must have interactive articles and videos, daily health tips, push notification for important alerts. It says that another opportunity is a disease awareness campaign app, right? Focus on specific preventative diseases, educating users about symptoms. For example, this can be quite big for women, right? For example, things like, preventing breast cancer and so forth. And we can make this really cool, because if you register on the app, we know your age and so forth, and we can run really cool AI to do that, right? Another one is a 24-hour health consultation app, right? With chat, video, voice, and so forth, where you can talk to doctors and nurses. You can schedule appointment, and there's an emergency button. Another one, which is quite big globally, is a mental health support app. A lot of people are committing suicide, but basically it gives anonymous chat options, stress management tools, resources for mental health, and so on, right? I don't think that's actually an app for mental health. Diagnostic treatment, right? So this one uses AI-driven symptom analysis. So you can just tell it how you are, and it uses AI basically to probably advise how best to live so that those symptoms go away and so forth, and guidance on when to speak to a professional care and so on. And it can integrate with telemedicine. Now, as part of this app we're building, we've already got 2 pharmaceuticals involved. So, for example, we can integrate them so that medicine is delivered and so forth, and so on and so on and so on. All right. So, as part of the mentorship, we're going to be building this app. Well, this is obviously high level, but we're going to go into more detail, right? But we're not just going to build the app, but we're going to be talking to, for example, a hospital, so that we make sure that once we've built this application, that's actually a customer. And we're going to be working with them in terms of how much it's going to cost. Obviously, we're not going to build something that doesn't have a lot of money. So upfront, we're going to say, okay, what do you need? What apps don't you have? And what is the opportunity financially that that this thing we're going to have, right? But as part of that, not only will you be part shareholders, but you begin to gain skills on how to build your own business, right? So remember what I said is that it's good to get a job, but jobs are always cutting people. It's always to have something that you can rely on that can also supplement your income, even if you have a job, right? And also the third thing, which is probably most important, is that the world needs this. Africa needs this. Kudzani, you've got your team from Botswana. I'm sure there's a lot of things that Botswana needs that you can deliver. So not only has God created us to take care of ourselves and family, but God has created us to solve problems of society. As we solve those problems, we are also blessed through income, through satisfaction, and so on, right? So the second element is you become part of a business, and whatever income is split within internally. But as you build the business or whatever we do, you begin to gain skills, and also not just coding skills, but marketing skills. So that's the third element. The fourth element is that we're going to be building the health app as a team together. But during the month, I'm going to be coaching you guys on how to build your own idea. So there's an idea that we share as a group, a business idea. We're not going to do anything less than $1 million. So whatever we do, before we even start the coding, we need to have a customer that's willing to pay more than $1 million, whatever we do, right? Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. But then as part of that, in parallel with that, during the course of the month, there'll probably be 3 sessions each month. In the third month, I'm going to be teaching everyone how to come up with an idea, right? And you'll be surprised how easy it is to come up with $1 million or rand idea, right? Which people have just not been taught. I mean, I went to business school. They don't even teach this. I don't know why, but I think the reason is because in business schools, they're trying to teach people to be employees. But that's the fourth thing, is that during the course of the month, we're going to be teaching you guys skills. So if you're in farming, last week, some people said they were in farming. We're going to be teaching you how to come up with those ideas. Part of teaching you is how to use AI, for AI to tell you what ideas haven't been invented and you guys can tap into. Not only are we going to be teaching you how to come up with those ideas, we're also going to be teaching you how to not to need a lot of money for that. And also how to get a market for that, right? So that's the fourth thing. that we're going to be teaching you along the course of the mentorship. I don't know if there's any questions before I go any further. Okay. All right. So that's the fourth element. The first thing is that you get access to the AI platform. Which will help you with your employment. The second thing is that, yeah, okay, Manari, go Manari.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Nhlanhla. I've got my friend here, Priscilla. She's got a question.
Okay, Priscilla,
Let
go
her.
ahead.
Yes, thanks, Nhlanhla. Good evening. I wanted to find out, because you're saying this is a training and I see it's progressive. I wanted to find out what's different from a person taking an AI app that is existing and just throwing a bunch of questions at the AI to say, what idea can I implement quickly, or how can I start a business? What would be the difference between a person embarking on that journey as compared to the one that you are offering at this point? Thanks.
The thing is that people don't know. That's why people haven't come up with ideas. They don't know how to use AI. Even kids at Stanford University in America don't know how to use AI. So there's an interview that was done by Eric Schmidt where he was actually teaching computer science students how to use AI, right? So it sounds simplistic, and Google is actually taking it down because it's quite dangerous, because Eric Schmidt told people what I know now. Like, for example, I've built a banking platform. No one knows how to do a banking platform through AI. I'm the only person on the planet, right, who's done that at the moment. So the truth of the matter is that people just don't know how to use AI. There's a skill behind using AI. That's the one thing. The other thing is that the AI information is fragmented. So for example, and it's very high level. So for example, if you ask AI now, give me a business idea, it's going to give you a very high level business. You can try it yourself, but it's going to give you you won't be able to start a proper business. It's very high level. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I think people can try it for themselves. And also, if people don't feel it's worth their while, and they can do some of the stuff that I'm proposing, then they should go ahead and do that, right? Don't stay on the platform if it's not going to be benefit to you. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. The best thing, Sissy, is for you to try it yourself. You'll find that it actually doesn't work.
Yeah, no, thanks. You've answered me. I have phobia for AI, by the way, so
Sorry?
if it can get me. I say I have phobia for AI, so that's one thing, yeah, that would discourage me from actually doing it myself. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, globally, people just don't know how to use AI. It's just, which is a good thing, because then we can have a competitive advantage, right? It's like everyone can read a medicine textbook, but not everyone can be a doctor. That's how simple. That's the best thing I can explain it, right? I mean, everyone has got an access to the book of medicine, but very few people become doctors, because even though you can read it, how to operate someone, actually operating someone is another story.
Yeah, true. Thank you. That's true. Thank you.
All right. So okay, so what I'm gonna do now, so that's the yeah, so the first element is that you get access to the to the to the platform that guarantees an interview within 30 days or money back. The second thing is that you become part of a business from start. But as you become part of the business, you learn different skills like business analysis. You learn about health if we're doing a health system. You learn about marketing. You will even learn about how to approach investors, right? You'll be surprised. Again, I'm not saying this to show off, but you'll be surprised how powerful your ideas are, right? I you will you I mean, I've walked away from investors wanting to give me 10 million US dollars. When you have an idea, now the first thing is to come up with the idea, business idea that no one else has done, which we'll teach you here, right? The first thing is then how to deliver that idea such that no one can compete. We will teach you that as well. Once you've got that, we have investors throughout the world. We've got investors that don't get out of bed for anything less than 10 million US dollars, right? We've got investors from the UK, from Saudi Arabia, from the Middle East, from Spain, from South Africa, from Monaco. We've got investors around the world, right? You'll be surprised how easy it is to sit in front of an investor, right? I've had about 3 investors and I've refused all of them. Now, the reason I've refused all of them is that they wanted too much of my company, right? And that's a good place to be, right? You want to be at a place where, because my thing is that the problem is that if someone owns your company, like they wanted more than 50%, I wasn't going to have that, right? You know, I mean, I might as well be an employee, even though I was going to be rich, but I wasn't going to control the company. And I'm not driven by money per se. I'm driven by providing a service for people. For example, they wanted my banking platform, but they were going to charge people very high fees for the banking platform. And I wanted to build a banking platform for people in Africa so that African people can start their own banks. Now, they don't really care about that. Even if they get 5 people, as long as they get their money, they're not interested in that. So basically, we will teach you how to generate the ideas, whether it's through using AI, but also, we will also, as you generate your idea, we will coach you through it. But then once it's ready, we will put you in front of an investor. Now, there is a trick with investors, right, which Africans don't understand. All you need to sit in front of an investor is a platform that's got at least 1,000 people that is unique, and that's pretty much it. And obviously, you need to have a plan on how it's going to scale. You will sit in front of an investor. So one of the benefits of being in a platform like this is that you guys become each other's customers. So for example, let's say Kuzani develops a platform. The idea is that all of us become customers for that platform. So it makes it, so the journey for Kuzani to be in front of an investor is much, much quicker. Because you can have a product, but investors want to know, have people used that product before? The moment they can see people have used it, they don't care really if investors don't care whether you make money or not. That's where people misunderstand. You can be losing money. Facebook was losing money for about 10 years. But the reason they gave Facebook billions of dollars is because Facebook had customers, right? And this is very, very important. There's a book I'm going to write, why A students will always work for F students. Does anyone understand what an F student is? A students will always work for F students. That's how the world works. It's not A students that rule the world. It's actually F students. And F is a play on words. It's friend students. It's people who can make friends or who can get customers. So if we have 1,000 of us on this platform, and if all of us will come up with creative ideas, we then support those people, we can be in front of investors, 1,000. And what investors is that if you've got 1,000 people, investors don't care that you don't have 1 million, because then it's their job to take you from 1,000 to 1 million. So for example, if as part of this platform, we can get 1 hospital to do this or to use our platform, getting the rest of the hospitals in Africa is not going to be our problem. It's going to be the investors' problem. All right. So those are some of the things I'll begin to teach you guys, is that how do you sit in front of investors, things that unfortunately we don't get exposed to. I was amazed. I mean, I remember going to the investor saying, I want 5 million. I was actually nervous behind it. And he says, Nhlanhla, you're thinking too small. Your idea is worth 1.2 billion. I was like, what? He says, your idea is worth 1.2 billion. Don't come to me with 5 million. No idea. There's no idea that's worth 5 million. In fact, you're insulting me by coming to me for an investment of 5 million. Right? I went back and I redid the business plan, and then for that 1.2 billion. But obviously, the worth of a company, again, I'll begin to teach you guys how the worth of a company works, right? Now, he was valuing a company at 1.2 billion, but he was only going to give us 200 million. But to give the 200 million, he wants at least 10,000 people on the platform. He doesn't care about the profits, right? He said that don't worry about the profits, even if you are losing money. As long as you've shown me the platform, I can see your platform, that it's revolutionary. No one is doing it. So the second thing I want from you is just 10,000 people for me to see that this thing can be used by people, not just you, right? And those are some of the things that we'll learn and that are applicable, whether you are a nurse, whether you are a taxi driver, whether you are a street sweeper. Just talking about street sweeping, right? Street sweeping is an industry. Some of you might not think it's an industry that's got R1 million idea that no one has tapped. The people who can give us $1 million idea are the street sweepers themselves. Domestic working is an industry that needs R1 million idea. The people who are going to give us those ideas are domestic workers, because they're the ones who work in that environment day to day. Right? So a domestic worker can give an idea in domestic industry more than me, because they know the frustrations of domestic workers together with the parents of children and so on, right? Okay, so I hope I'm getting that point. The last thing we're going to be doing is that I'm not sure if any of you have ever worked on freelance platforms. Who's ever worked on a freelance platform, maybe just raise your hand and just tell us what it's about. Has anyone ever worked on on freelance platforms like Upwork, freelance, and so on? No one has ever done that. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. So kids in India are never unemployed, right? You guys will meet Mayur. He's a young boy from India that I've been training for a while. He's going to be helping you through the course. I'm actually now teaching him AI. He wants to leave India and go and work in the US. But he's never unemployed. In fact, he doesn't work for anyone. All he does is bid for jobs on Freelancer, right? And I'm going to show you, so on Upwork, right? So this is a platform called Upwork. Can everyone see Upwork on my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
All right, so this is one of the platforms. There's many of them, but on Upwork, there is over 5 million people who make bids, who are looking to employ people, right? So let's say, for example, so what you do is that as an employer, so I'm an employer on Upwork. So I can say on Upwork, I can post a job, right? I can say it's a short-term project. Or let me say it's a short-term project. Can say continue. I'll do it without AI. You can use AI. Let's say I want, okay, a health system for hospitals in South Africa, right? A health platform for hospitals in South Africa. Let me say an app, health app Okay, let's just go full stack development. Okay. Let's say the skills I need: a smartphone, Android, iOS, user profile thing. Let's just say next go. All right. There's different jobs, just long term. Okay, let's just go there. Say 3 to 6 months. Let's say entry level. Let's see. This could be full time. Next budget. Let's say my budget is $14 an hour, right? Let me describe it, right? Let me just copy and paste this one. Let's say we want to build this mental health app, right? All right. So as I post this job, and you've got, like I said, there's 5 million job people on the platform, right? What will happen is that it'll send a notification to what they call freelancers around the world, like yourself. For example, this guy on Upwork, he's made over $60,000, right? Right. And he's charging $70 an hour for this. Obviously, this is specific. So you might be a nurse if the person is searching for a nurse. And then this person, this is crazy, right? This person has earned over 1 million US. That's about 17, 18 million rands from Upwork, right? So this guy doesn't do anything. He wakes up, he doesn't work for anyone. He wakes up every day and he gets these jobs, for example, that I've posted, right? He pitches for them and he's very clever, right? He's pitching at $20 an hour instead of this guy. That's why he's earning $1 million. Instead of this guy who's pitching at $40 an hour. Now, the trick is, for example, you guys could pitch at $10 an hour. Now, usually the people that come on Upwork usually want the same thing. So what you can do is that normally you've got 10 people wanting the same thing. So you can win all the 10 jobs. And essentially, the other 9 become cut and paste of the first one. So, for example, I've got a job from Ghana, for example, for building a education app for them. Right? They want an education app, and it's about they're going to pay me 200,000 rands for building it, but every month they'll pay 10,000. So usually, that's the cool thing about Upwork as well, is that when you build something for someone, they also usually want you to support it. You might say that, but I'm not a developer, which is fine, right? Usually when these things are developed, you need someone, for example, if we're building a health thing, well, I need someone who understands health, for example, a doctor. So you can get together as a team. One of you can be a nurse, the other person can be good at development, the other person can be a good artist. Developers are usually useless at drawing nice pictures, and so forth, right? So you can become a team and then split the money together. And like I said, if you get 10 of these and each one of them is giving you a regular income, you can end up not even needing a job, right? There's 5 million employers on this. And it's not just this platform, there's other platforms as well, right? So Umayua actually, he lives on this, right? So he will teach you guys why at 24 years of age, I think he's been doing this for like 5 years, why he's never worked for anyone in his life. And unfortunately in Africa, a lot of us don't know these platforms, right? That's the one thing. The second thing is that a lot of these employers want Southern Africans because of our language, because we are very good at English. So you'll find a lot of the employers are from the US. They can't really go for US people because they're expensive. They can't go to South America because they speak Spanish. The Indian English isn't as good as ours. They can't go to the Chinese because they can't speak English. They can't go to the Russians. Most of Europe speaks different languages, so they can't go there. They can't go to half of Africa because they speak French. So really, a lot of them want Southern Africans, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, Lesotho, Eswatini, because of our English. You are blessed to live in this part of the world. But obviously, a blessing is useless if you can't tap into that blessing. I don't know if there's any questions. I mean, some of these guys earn serious money. I mean, this guy's earning 1 million. Some of these guys, I mean, this guy has earned over, I think this guy's probably just started, and so forth and so forth, right? You begin to see people earning a lot of money. I mean, this guy has earned 9 million, right? Executives, probably 95% of people in South Africa have not earned this in their life. So this person has earned 170 million rands from just this platform. And they are charging $15. Again, they're very, very smart. They're charging small so that they can get jobs. Instead of these guys who charge a lot and then they don't get anything, right? Again, I mean, I'm just going to give you guys the tools, right? It's up to you, once I've given you the tools, whether you then make the most out of those tools, right? And again, I mean, there's obviously going to be application. So if you don't think this is the thing for you, no hard feelings, you don't have to join, right? All we're doing is that we are showing you guys some of the skills that can really make you go far, right? We will also introduce you to artificial intelligence so that you can get jobs that can even get you even more money. I mean, this person has got basic skills, right? They don't even have artificial intelligence skills. So we'll begin to teach you that. And again, don't stress out if you don't know AI, right? You can partner with people. Our idea is to build an ecosystem. So for example, if the government of South Africa has got a problem in home affairs, they come to us. If they've got a problem in the police, for example, the police at the moment in South Africa don't have an app for capturing crime, which is why things like Senzo Muyiwa cases are taking for a long time, because they lose documents. So that's quite an easy business idea. Build an app to capture crimes. And once you've built that app and crimes are captured electronically, you can run patterns and AI and see how criminal behavior works, right? Again, in the mentorship, I'll begin to bring in some of those people on the platform. And I'm bringing my business partners. For example, one of my business partners is Mthethwa. For you guys, you will know Nathi Mthethwa was a minister of police. Nathi Mthethwa is his cousin, right? So we're going to try and bring Nathi to the platform. He's currently an ambassador. So we're going to bring people like Nathi to say, okay, Nathi, what opportunities are there? Okay, the people on the platform want to provide that service. Can you get us in touch with your guys in the police currently? We'll bring in people like Nathi. We'll bring in maybe some of the MECs of economic development in KZN. So every week we're going to try and bring a speaker or have a topic where we teach you innovation. But the other week we're going to be working on our project and enhancing your skills. And it's going to evolve, right? You guys will set the agenda. If there's a specific item you want to cover as a group, you are more than welcome to change the agenda, right? But I need to emphasize as well, whatever we build on the platform, not your own idea, whatever we build on the platform, you guys become part shareholders. And then another thing we want to do is that we want to build a mutual bank as part of this. I'm not sure if Mfanelo is there. Mfanelo, are you there? Just to begin to explain to the people how a mutual bank works and some of the ideas.
Yes, good evening and greetings to everyone. Yes, so I think AI is the future globally. I think Africa is behind. Therefore, we do need to accelerate the skills in that space. then there are many applications, as Nhlanhla is explaining. One of the applications is exactly in banking. So we obviously, because we've spent a lot of time training young people in a number of skills, so that not only they should create opportunity, especially in the spaces of entrepreneurship, so that they can create opportunities for others and for their families. But one of the things that becomes then relevant is that it's important then to create banks that are able to invest in that environment, invest in our young people, in their talent. Now, one of our then objective is to actually build, as a first pillar, community-owned banking. The banks, so cooperative banks in South Africa, you can get a license to, the lowest you can get is a cooperative bank. And then the next layer is mutual bank, depending on the criteria. I mean, the cooperative bank, you just need to have a minimum 200 shareholders with a particular threshold for initial capital that is required to operate a cooperative bank, which is from a minimum of 100,000 to a million. And then for a mutual bank, it's 10 million upward, whereas the commercial bank is 250 and above. So while we train young people into, various skills so they can develop industries, we recognize that you need to have ability to finance the capital or the working capital, invest in those young people. So a cooperative bank then becomes such a vehicle. But for it to operate, it needs a banking platform, technology, so you can operate and transact. People can trade through the platform. They can transact through the platform. So that becomes an issue. So not only that you want to give capital, but you also want to create a market for those products. And that's why then what is nice about cooperative bank is that because everyone who banks in it becomes a shareholder, and then they also become the market, because whatever brands you invest in as a bank, it's in your best interest that you also then create a market for those, so that then you guarantee success. Because if you've given capital and you can give a market, and then you can also then give global expertise towards a development of that brand or service or product, then you're closing the loop. You increasing the chances of success, because anyone can do a business. If you can access capital, you can access a market, and you have access to global expertise. So with cooperative banking, you also then use your ecosystems to be a pool of that knowledge, because us as an organization, we're working with across Pan-Africa. So Pan-Africanism is about working with the 54 nations who are on the soil of Africa, plus our diaspora, wherever they are, scattered across the 195 nations. And so because of that, we are then assembling a wide range of expertise. In other words, there is not a single industry where we don't have people who are operating there right now. So which means it's an opportunity to then bring this kind of knowledge, which sits all over the world, and make it accessible to our young people here in Africa. So those are the tactics which comes with having such arrangements. So perhaps I'll pause the.
Yes. So as part of this platform, right, when you join, you've got we will highly encourage for you to join this cooperative bank, right? There's a couple of reasons why. Is that whatever platform we build, we will take 20%. The rest of you guys will take 80%. That's the one, right? So with the money that we are going to be getting, let's say we build the health platform, we're going to be donating some of that money into the cooperative bank, right? And also just by joining this platform, especially if we get over like 100 people, we're going to be taking some of the money and putting it into that cooperative bank. The idea is that that cooperative bank then becomes, like Mfanelo was saying, it will fund your ideas, right? So that's the one. I mean, the government of South Africa, again, there's no promises. Doesn't like funding individuals, but will fund things like cooperative bank. I think I'm not mistaken, Mfanelo. They don't prefer funding individuals. They rather prefer funding cooperative banks. So by being part of the cooperative bank, it becomes easier for you, like Mfanelo is saying, to access capital. That's the one. But like we said, right? So the good thing is that if you leave this platform, again, for you to have access to that capital, you need to be on the platform for at least 3 months, right? But let's say you leave the platform and you are running with your business. If you are part of that cooperative community, you are then able to request that cooperative bank if you qualify or if money is available to get funding for your business. That's the second thing. The other thing is that the biggest problem in Africa is we've been brainwashed not to buy from each other. So Africa is not, well, maybe not Africa. Southern Africa is not poor. The problem is that we don't buy from each other. They say that 70% of the money from Sowetans doesn't stay in Soweto. It goes to the suburbs, right? By being part of a cooperative bank, you get access not only to funding, but you also get access, like Mfanelo is saying, to skills. You get access to meetings. I think Mfanelo is organizing a meeting of multiple cooperative banks amongst different African people. I think they're aiming at 1 billion or something reach or something. But you begin to tap into these ecosystems, for a fancy word, but also tap into these communities, right? Then not only do they help you in terms of networking and so forth, but they also become your customers and potential funders, right? So like I said, if you want more information, I can chat to you privately or individually, but I would really encourage you to go to the cooperative banks. And like I said, we're going to be funding a lot of the money that we get into the cooperative banks and not individuals. The cooperative bank, we need a minimum of probably about 100 people. But you guys, not myself, will be the board. You guys amongst yourself will choose who the board members for that cooperative bank is. And I've asked Mfanelo to lead it. Mfanelo is not part of me. He's got his own different entities. But Mfanelo has got a lot of experience with leading international institutions. So for example, at the moment, he's got a cooperative bank that's got investors from America, it's got people from Cote d'Ivoire and so forth. So he's got a lot of experience in networks and getting capital. He's a very humble somebody, but I can't, he's got this gift of being able to help people. At the moment, the government of South Africa is using him to train farming children in the Eastern Cape, one of the biggest provinces in South Africa. And he's got his own farm. He's an entrepreneur by his own rights. He doesn't work for anyone, but he trains people at a large scale. The government trusts him with that level of influence. but also he's got access to or knowledge in terms of how to tap some of those things, whether it's capital and so forth in the government. For example, one of the things that we want to do maybe in 5 or 6 months' time is to get the government to fund this program. We think we don't want to do it now because it's too early, because we don't want people to come here just because they want the government funding. But in a couple of months, we want to introduce the government. Mfanelo is already doing that, right? So we're going to be tapping into his skills on how exactly that is done. So, but anyway, I don't want to belabor the point, but I will highly encourage for you to set up a cooperative bank. Even Kudzani, for the likes of you in Botswana, Mfanelo's network of banks extends to you guys as well. I think he's got people even in New Zealand and so on. Any questions around the cooperative bank? Okay, then we can move on from there. Yeah. Any other questions or clarities that people need before I go to the next topic? All right. So the other thing is that the program is $250 a month. It's not a subscription, it's a commitment. And you can quit anytime, but obviously there are conditions in terms of joining the cooperative bank, becoming a shareholder. I think for shareholding, we need at least 2 months on the platform. You know, I think it's not fair for the other ones. You can, oh yeah, there's a question from Marisang. You can start at any time, Marisang. You know, like I said, my young man from India, I mean, he started at 18, so at any time you can start. I think the earlier you start, the better. The world is ruled by teenagers. I don't know if you know that. The biggest company in the world is Apple. It was started by Steve Jobs at 19. The second biggest company is Microsoft. It was started by Bill Gates at 19. One of the top 10 companies in the world is Meta or Facebook. It was started by Mark Zuckerberg at 19. Right? So there is no age restriction, whether you are 60 or 18 or even a teenager, you can join. The only thing is commitment, right? So that you are fair to yourself. And yeah, you can basically not waste your time. Any other question? All right, so I think the best thing, right, is for Kudzani, thank you for sending me that email. I think the best thing is for people to send me to send me an email at admin.savly.tech, right? Whoever's interested, send me an email. I will send you the link to the platform where the payment can be done, right? I just want to get a sense of how many people we've got. I think we said we had a target of 50 to start off with. Yeah, so let me, it's there on the chat. It's admin at savly.tech. If you forget, just reach out to the person that got you in here and I will send out the email. I think that's the best thing. I just want to get a sense of how many people before we ask people to pay and I start giving you the banking details. Yeah, you can get the recording. I will send the recording, Esther. I'll put it on YouTube so that everyone can access it. But it's pretty much similar to last week, Esther. So, but I'll still put it. But yeah, because I don't want to sit with people's money and then find out we don't have enough people and people are frustrated for a month because we haven't started. So Kudzani, just confirm to me that the guys that you sent to me are still committed so we can get a number. And everyone else send me an email there. And then what I'll do is that when I get the right quota of people, I will then send you guys the banking details. right? But again, think about it, pray about it. There is no pressure, right? I mean, I was talking to someone who's got a youth of about 100,000, and I was telling them that don't pressurize people to join something. People must believe in something for them to join, right? We don't want people's money. I'd rather you not join. If you are hesitant, take your time. Oh, there's Kuzani. Kuzani, go ahead. Kuzani, you can go ahead. It's fine.
Yes. All right. Thank you. So I just wanted to confirm that the people who were confirming are the ones who are interested in going ahead and paying now, even for the mentorship. Is that it?
Yeah, when you've sent me your 30, right? So obviously
Yes.
some of that 30 haven't went on the previous recording. So in the spirit of giving people time, not rushing people into things, I want them to be sure that they're going to join before we
Okay.
count them as part of the group, right?
All right.
Ideally, I would like to start in November, beginning of November, so that come January, January is usually quite a high employment month, that first quarter, right? So, and also a lot of things like budget and so forth get kind of settled during that month. So I would like to start beginning of November. We'll see how many people are in December, although I don't like doing things in December. So what we might do is that for December, you will pay 250 for 2 months, right? So what we'll do is that we'll start in November, we'll do a bit of December, but we'll see how many people are there. So maybe do from beginning of December to mid-December so people can go away on Christmas with their families. Come back maybe mid-Jan to the end of Jan, but count those 2 months as 1 month, right? I might still post videos, but there will be no official thing, right? And then February becomes obviously a full month again and so on, right? But again, please pray about it. Don't be rushed into things, right? I always tell people that success is more about what you believe in rather than any program, right? I've coached people for 20 years. The ones that have really succeeded are people who are hungry. I think last time I showed a testimony, I once worked with a young man. I was 18 at the time. He came to me, he was failing his courses, was about to be kicked out of university. And he came to me and said, "Clint, I'm stupid." And I remember telling him that if you walk with me, at that time I was getting straight A's and so on. I remember telling him that if you walk with me, you're going to be amazing. Now, it wasn't only him that I told other people as well. But he decided to be committed. And to cut a long story short, he graduated at the top of his class and he started his own multi-million rand civil engineering company. Funny enough, he wanted me to come to his board, so to an extent he was employing me after that. But the reason why he succeeded wasn't because of my skill. Yes, I gave him the tools, but it was because of his commitment, right? You are a success waiting for a place to happen. God is unequivocal. It is impossible for you to fail. I don't know if that makes sense. I know that it sounds a bit silly. It is impossible for you to fail, right? Just like it's impossible for an iPhone not to do what it was created to do, it is impossible. You might ask me then, Shanta, why do people fail? People actually don't fail. People become exactly what they were created to do. So if you take drugs, it's not you failing. The body is not, for example, if you put a cell phone in water, it's not going to work. It's probably going to break down. So if you take your body, which is like a cell phone, and put it in water and put drugs in it, it's not the body that's failing. The body is actually succeeding because it's supposed to malfunction when it's put in water. But if you take that same body, that same you, for example, and you get it to sit with Elon Musk, to be loved, to be cherished, to be told that it's wonderful, to be exposed to different skills, I guarantee you, you won't even recognize yourself, right? People don't fail. People become exactly. For example, the reason you are frustrated is because God built it inside of you that if Kudzani is not doing what I want a hormone in her body to frustrate her so that she doesn't stay in that position. Just like when you put your cell phone in sunlight, it shuts down. It's an indication that I was not made. So the cell phone is actually not failing. It's it's succeeding by indirectly telling you I'm not supposed to be in sunlight. I'm supposed to be in a cool environment. If you take that same cell phone away from the heated environment and you put it in a cool environment, it works. A lot of people in Africa are not failing. They are in the wrong environment. So God is saying, but you're not failing. Because I created you such that if you are in this environment, you don't succeed. I don't know if I'm making that sense, because it's a very important thing. You are in the wrong environment, but you're not failing. I created you to be idiot-proof. So if you are being an idiot by putting yourself in the wrong environment, I've created you to be idiot-proof such that you are frustrated so much that you come to Tlatla's platform and then he gives you a couple of things and all of a sudden you're in the right environment and you have... And I'm an engineer. I mean, it's something that I learned when I was doing engineering, that it is impossible for you to fail. Whatever you consider as failure is the world, is the environment, or it's your body telling you that you're not supposed to be there. If you take drugs, your body is not failing. It's telling you that this is a foreign object. I'm not supposed to be taking it. That's why it shuts down. It's indirectly telling you that I don't like what I'm getting. All of a sudden, if you stop the drug abuse and you start reading the right books and you start being shown the right tools, you will begin to succeed. I know I'm sounding like a preacher, but it's something I've been doing for 20 years, and it's incredible how time after time it seems to work. I've got people who were about to be fired within 6 months. They multiply the salaries by 4, not because of anything, but because you shift them from environment or you gave them the tools. If, for example, with an iPhone, you don't download the right app, it won't work. Downloading an app, for example, is getting a new skill, right? If you don't download the calling app, then you blame the cell phone that is not working. No, the cell phone is succeeding. You are not giving it what it needs in order to be what it was created to be. I am convinced that people never fail. It's just they haven't been exposed to tools and they haven't been exposed to environment. Now, it is your choice, though. That's the unfortunate thing, or fortunate, whatever you put it, is that God has given it to you to decide. God is more interested in your success than you are. In fact, God is dragging you towards your success. And the way he drags you is by frustrating you. You wake up and say, my world, my life is not what I'm supposed to be. Inside of you, you can feel what I'm supposed to be great. You can feel it, right? I mean, I know it sounds preachy, but all of us can testify to that we can feel that we are great. Again, I'm just going to summarize. I don't want to be preachy, but the Bible says that there's only one thing that God fears, right? God is afraid of nothing except how brilliant you are. I mean, for girls, the Bible says that God is nervous about your beauty. That's how beautiful you are, right? In Psalms, it says, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The word fearfully means that God is so awed by you that he's afraid to make a mistake with you. That's how awesome you are, but you need to decide your path. And it's fine. Maybe your awesomeness is not through this platform. Maybe it's through another platform. But whatever platform it is, find it. And maybe some of you are already in your right environment, which is great. You don't need to be part of this platform, right? I mean, God is not restricted to this platform. But if you are made to be in this platform, then embrace your greatness, right? I mean, I've seen families change. I mean, this young man, his family completely changed. No one had ever been to university. Now I hear that his brother is an international chartered accountant, all because he made that's another thing that's important as well. You might say, well, I don't want to succeed. The only problem with that is that God has tied the success of others to your success. Kudzani might be called to create an incredible hospital in Botswana. If you don't create that hospital, it's not you that suffers. It's the people that are supposed to come to that hospital. Again, let's not be preachy. I need to wrap up, but any questions on that?
Hi, Nhlanhla.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I have a question. So for those of us who are interested in participating, but we currently need financial assistance, perhaps in the form of payment plans, I'd like to know, are those payment plans available? And also, how long is this training supposed to, what is the duration of the training? Is it like for 3 months, or is there no set duration or a fixed duration? I hope I made sense.
Yeah, there is no, I mean, ideally we want an outcome within 3 months, right? So, but I mean, some people might decide to take longer. They might decide to continue, especially those who are interested in coding, right? It does take a while for you to be really proficient in coding. But after 3 months, you'll never be the same again. Doesn't matter how long you stay. But the idea is that after 3 months, we're starting to see something tangible, right? Some of you might see something tangible within a month, right? Depending on where you are. But some people might take a bit longer. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question. And then in terms of the financial assistance, it's going to be tricky, but just send me a message. I'll see what I can do, right? But it's, yeah, I need to get people on the platform, especially Mayua from India, because I just can't do this by myself. I've got other things to do. So I'm going to rely on him a lot in terms of producing some of the videos. Okay, so in terms of the hours, there will be live videos, but we're also going to be putting them on demand so that the people who can't make it can check them later. We're going to have a place for people to send questions and people who need support. What we will do, right, is that if there's common questions, maybe from a group of 10, right, but it needs to be like a group of 10, not individuals. We can then maybe have a specific session for those 10. For example, if the guys in Botswana are saying, Klanta, this health platform is great, but we want to do something specific for our country, can we have a private session for Botswana? I'm willing to entertain that, right? But it needs to be significant people. And I do encourage you to look for things that are specific to your community, right? One of the things investors look for is passion. Investors can easily see someone who's doing something for money, right? And also, nothing in life is ever easy. So don't do something for money. You will regret it. Do something that's your passion, but obviously it must make you money. I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, we need to eat. But yeah, so I hope I'm answering that question about, in terms of payment plans. So reach out to me. I'll see what I can do. The other one is, yeah, so the hours will have to gauge from people. What I'll do is that it's going to be generally after hours, right? But I just need to work out which day most people will be able to make, because ideally I want people to be online as much as possible. So we'll just work it out. When you send your email, I'll just get a consensus from people, which days work for them. Ideally, I don't like weekends, but we might need to explore them because I believe that we do things in order to bless our family. Now, there's no point if you're hardly spending any time with your family. So I would like people to spend as much time with their family as possible on the weekends, but we just need to see that. So I'm thinking at the moment, 3 sessions, 2 sessions where we are building something, we're imparting skills, 1 session a week where we're bringing a guest speaker and we're working on your multi-million rand idea or dollar idea, right? For lack of a better term, right? So we bring speakers one day or I'm helping you on how to come up with ideas and things like that. And in the other two weeks, we're actually imparting skills and we're working on our platform idea, so to speak, right? Anyone else has got a question?
Yes, I am back again. Hi, everyone. We would also like to know how much is the payment? Is it 250? Kindly confirm. And secondly, the amount that we are contributing, or let me say investing, because this is an investment. Is the 250 for the mentorship solely, or is it for the shareholders thing? Because you did mention something about the shareholders. May you kindly confirm on those as well?
Okay, so the 250 is for the mentorship, but some of that money will go towards the shareholders, right? But only after we reach a certain threshold, right? Which I think we had said 1,000, but maybe if we get above 200, we'll begin to contribute to that, right? So there's no pressure to contribute towards the shareholding. Mfanele, are you still there? I think you might be on mute. So, Mfanele? Okay, I think you might be gone. So, yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to change screens.
All right. So
I am here. I just was trying to flip the screens so for me.
all right. So I think Niani, are you based in South Africa?
No, I'm based in Botswana. I'm with Kuzani.
All right. And there's a couple, there's quite a big contingent in Botswana. Mfanele.
Correct.
From the
correct.
No. I'm talking about.
Let me just check the question.
Yeah. So on this platform, there's about 30 already in Botswana. There might be more. Did you get that, Buff?
Yes, correct.
Right.
Yes.
So
correct.
So I'm not sure if Niani is talking for all of them, but it sounds like they might want to explore not just the mentorship, but shareholding and the other stuff that you are doing.
Okay. No. Look, I think based on the first class, we will establish how many people are participating. How many?
We've lost you, Buff. I think you. All right, I think we've lost him, Vanilla. Can everyone hear me at least? Niani, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay, I think we've lost him, Vanilla. Yeah, okay, Vanilla, are you back? Okay, I think we've lost him. So, yeah, so Niani, I might need to talk to you separately. So at the moment, we're busy onboarding a local bank, right? That's got 4,500 people in South Africa, and we're onboarding a couple of others, right? If you in Botswana are wanting to explore, especially the shareholding, so there's a shareholding obviously for the platform, right? But if for example, you want to create serious capital as a community in Botswana, I think we might need to set up a different session. I'll tell you why, because there might be a possibility for us to include you with some of the other platforms that I'm working on. They're not part of this platform, but they're others. So we are currently working with community banks and African people like yourself who are trying to build wealth for their communities in South Africa. and you might benefit from leveraging with some of them. That's the one. But in terms of the platform itself, I think for now, I'm not gonna be expecting you to put money into there. And I think we should wait a bit. Maybe until the end of the first month or the second month before people start putting money into there. Let's allow the money to come from the platform which we are doing as a business. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, because I don't want to put money and then take money back, right? So let's see how the platform works. But I think there is an opportunity for me to speak to you guys in Botswana separately. I think I've also got some contact within the government of Botswana that we can leverage as well. There's a lady I think who's kind of close to that young minister that we might tap into for some of your stuff. Anyone else who's got a question?
Hi,
Yes, Dorcas. Yeah.
I'm Rose. Yes, I think you answered the issue of the monies for mentorship, but I wanted to know if the figures, it's 250,000, 250 rand, 250 pula, it's just 250, and we're like,
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, my dear.
yes,
Yes, I'm in South Africa. Sorry, it's 250 rand, so it's a bit less than Pulas, right?
yes, it is way,
Yeah.
way cheap.
Yeah. So it's actually So you would have to convert it into Pulas, right? It's 250 rand.
Okay, yes, so I think like you are saying, we need a separate talk so that we get to have a one-on-one.
Yeah, Kudzani. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I'll reach out to Kudzani Dorcas just for you guys in Botswana.
thank you.
Anyone?
Right, so we have from that list, we have people both in Botswana and others in Zambia as well.
Yeah, we can do Zambia as well, so it's fine. We
Okay.
can. It's up to you. It's up to you, Kudzani. You can decide either to have all of them in one, or to do a separate Botswana and Zambia chat.
All right, that's fine. Thanks.
I think it might be actually beneficial to do a separate Zambia and Botswana chat. Actually, I see Chimwemwe is in Zambia, so let's give a special session. Hopefully, it's not only her. How many people in Zambia, Kudzani?
There, I think about 5 from the top of my head, but I'm sure more are going to join from the members that are already here in this call.
All right. No, it's fine. Let's do a separate Zambia one.
All right.
Tabang, not at the moment, right? So we're not going to get certificates at the moment. There's a long process with CETA, right? I can give you what we can do is that we can facilitate you getting certificates. But I mean, if it's something that you absolutely need, we can chat about it, right? But there's no plan at the moment to get a certificate. But to be fair, but you will get work experience, right? Which you can then put on your CV. But if people, for example, want coding certificates, I can facilitate that. If you want business analysis certificates, I can facilitate that for it to be easier for you, right? So if I know that South Africa certificates are very important. To be honest, in other countries, they don't care about certificates, right? Google, Microsoft, they don't really care about certificate. But I know that in South Africa, it's something that's very, very important. So we can facilitate that. I hope I'm answering your question, Tabang. All right. Yeah. Anyone else has got a question? Yeah. And just to Tabang's point, right? I want you to be an entrepreneur, my brother. So that's my desire, right? I want all of you guys to be entrepreneurs. Yes, you will get a job, but I want all of you guys to be entrepreneurs, either to be to have an idea that you are working on, or to have an idea that is flourishing, right? Yes, My mentor, the Miles Monroe, used to always tell us that your employment is your job is your pre-employment. It's temporary. It's your training before you get your true work, which is your business. You know, your job will never fully maximize your skills, right? I mean, you guys know that. Some of you guys are brilliant, but your job tells you that you are only a typewriter. But you've got so many more skills than a typewriter, but your job description is limiting you to that. But yes, I know that employment is important. I mean, I worked for a corporate for a long time. But if there is a bias in this course, it's entrepreneurship and using platforms like Upwork and Freelancer, right? Where you don't become a slave to your boss. I mean, some of the stories that we hear, right? For example, in the Eastern Cape, girls have to compromise themselves. So what's the point of getting an employment? Right? Even boys have to compromise themselves in order to get ahead. That's not a life to have. I mean, I've been in corporate, right? I mean, you have to suck up to some guy who doesn't even know much just because he's called your boss. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing employment, but I want you guys to have options. To say, you know what, if you say that, I'm going to walk away because I've got other options. Right? There's nothing as sad as having no options. Again, I don't want to preach. It's just something I'm very passionate as a father who's got a daughter, something I'm very passionate about that I never want my child to be exposed to. Anyway, anything else before we close? It's quite a long time. It's more than an hour and a half now. Anyone else? Okay, Sis Manare, I would like to hear your voice before we close.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Sorry, I've got some cars behind me. Thank you so much, Nhlanhla. I think I'll just continue to rally my family, and the recordings will help, because I think Saturday people can be very busy and forget what is important. So yeah, I'm just excited that I'll be helping lots of young people to really come on the platform and change their lives. Yeah, maybe I can pray. Let me try to find.
Yes, please pray for us.
Yeah, sorry, the card doesn't want to open. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you so much. We have been praying about our economy, South Africa, our youth, and God, this is an answer. And we ask for wisdom, oh God, and tenacity, and consistent and commitment, that Father God, our youth will be committed and really, take this and take it forward, and not just to, banyatsa, and just like, it won't work. No, we want people who will say, we will make it work. So I pray for each and every person who's here, that God, you will give them that heart of commitment. And thank you for the mentors like Mfanele and Nhlanhla. And thank you, Lord, that you've been, working in their lives to come to this point of blessing the youth of South Africa. Lord, we believe and that this will work out as long as we are committed. We thank you, Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thanks, Manare, and thanks everyone. And yeah, guys, think about it, pray about it. There's no pressure. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. Don't feel guilty. But if it does, and you feel that this is a place for you, would love to have you. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nhlanhla. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mfanelo.
Thank you,
God bless.
Sasha. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Panelo. Thank you,
Thanks, Cecily.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.